Okay, guys, how's it going? Hi, this is Dr. D here, and I want to talk about something called the yoga paradox, and I've named that the yoga paradox, and a lot of you know that I've gotten into yoga lately, and this one really got to me because when I really started to get into yoga, and I decided that I was gonna be a yogi, I decided that this was really helping me. It was helping, me physically, and I'm going to be reporting on something today, and I'm not like the total expert on yoga. Okay, I'm definitely a yogi, and I qualify for that. But I'm totally not. There's people that go through these teacher training courses, and they know everything, and I have not studied Sanskrit, and I don't know all that stuff, right? And that may be something that I'll do in the future, but for right now, I'm not a total expert, but I am qualified to be called a yogi, okay? Because I dig yoga, man, and I really love doing it, and I'm learning about it, and I'm getting better at it. See, that's one thing. You become what you do. You keep doing, and I'm becoming a yogi. Who'd have known? Anyway, so what do I mean by the yoga paradox, though? Why is yoga a paradox? And being a chiropractor, I'm kind of fascinated with the nervous system, right? We have our cognitive mind, and then we have our subconscious mind, which is in the back of our brain, and then we have the stuff that happens in our body, our heartbeats, our blood pressure, all that stuff. It's all regulated. It's all done automatically. It's called the autonomic nervous system. And really, it's all about this whole mind-body connection. And most people thought you can't really control this autonomic nervous system. It's autonomic. It's automatic, right? You can't control it. It's something that just happens. Well, not in yoga. And I want to tell you this. So, as I looked at yoga, I observed different things about it, different things that you gain from it. And, I think that I can kind of break them down into maybe four things. First one is obvious, which is the physical postures, the stretching, the exercise, the movements, the breathing techniques, and, the relaxation techniques. The second one is more, the idea of self-regulation, to control our internal stress response. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today, and to control our emotional responses, okay? Because when you're holding something and you're like shaking and you're going to die, man, you gotta mentally really think about how long am I going to stay in this pose. And so another key area is the cultivation of this mind-body awareness, and I think these are all kind of coming together, but it's a sense of being able to feel and experience really what's going on in the body, and be able to observe what's going on mentally, and be able to observe that process of thought. And then the final component, really, and it's one that I'm very into, and I was into before I got into yoga, but is the which is the idea of this experience of a deeper state, of these virtual states, or a meditative state, or something that's transcendental even, or transcending. So it depends on how deep you want to get, man, but it's pretty cool. Yoga's been really awesome to me, and while all these ideas I just talked about kind of cross-motionate, and they go together, and they overlap and stuff as you do it, but really what I want to focus on is the autonomic nervous system. So first of all, the sympathetic nervous system, you might know that as our fight or flight response, and why do we summon the sympathetic division, or this fight or flight? And it's anytime the body is under stress, it's going to summon the sympathetic nervous system, okay? We have something called our HPA axis, or hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and the bottom of that is adrenals. It really releases adrenaline into our system, so it causes our blood pressure to increase. It causes our blood flow to go from our gut to our extremities so our muscles can work, right? It also causes the blood to flow from the forebrain, which is where our neocortex is, where our thinking brain, into the hindbrain, which is where our reflexive or our reactive brain is, and that's where the subcerebellum is. And when you're doing yoga, you're invoking the stress response, because you're getting into these poses, you're contracting, you're going up and down, you're working out a sweat, you're getting the blood flowing, the body is working, and you're putting physical stress on your body, and you're invoking the stress response. Now, the parasympathetic response, or the parasympathetics, are known as the rest and digest, or something that reduces our anxiety. So after our stress is over, we can go back into the parasympathetic and we can relax, okay? And so that's actually kicks in after the sympathetic has subsided. So physiologically, the parasympathetic, and the body slows down the heart rate, it decreases the blood flow, the blood pressure, it pushes the blood back to the gut for digestion, it pushes the blood back to our forebrain so we can start to mentate and and think and do all the stuff we do when we're in a delta wave state. And typically these don't happen together. We don't exhibit both of these responses simultaneously. And our conscious mind doesn't control the autonomic nervous system, except in yoga we do, and therein lies the paradox, okay? So what's really cool is that this connection between our mind and body is actually physiologic and neurologic, and also we talked about adrenaline, so we're bringing in the endocrine system too, but we're all connected from the brain, the body. What affects the brain affects the body, affects everything, right? And it affects our energy, it affects our aura, it affects whatever goes on around us. And so this paradox of yoga that I've discovered, or that my hypothesis is that we have the ability to summon both a sympathetic division and the parasympathetic division of neurons simultaneously. Okay, so as we go through our sequence of poses and our body starts to work and the blood flows, our muscle starts to sweat, this work requires an increase in the heart rate and increase the blood pressure so we can get the blood to our to our muscles in a timely fashion. And we also start to breathe harder, because we're requiring more oxygen, because we're asking our body to do more. And basically we're putting it into a stressful situation. Now, the paradox lies in the fact that we're also controlling our breathing cognitively, which is contraindicated to the sympathetic response. Usually if you're out for a run and you're like, you're using your muscles and you're breathing, man, and you're not controlling. You if you want to slow down your breath, you slow down your breath, you slow down your running, right? But you keep breathing hard until your body gets enough oxygen. But we control this through our mind in yoga, and we this happens through a yogic type of breathing that we call Ujjayi, and I love that name, and I've used that a lot. But the Ujjayi breath, and what the heck is that? The Ujjayi breath is the yogis taught to breathe through the nose. So basically you're closing your mouth, and I can't do that while I'm talking, and you restrict the airflow in the back of your mouth, and you create turbulence back there, okay? Kind of sounds like Darth Vader when you do it. And basically what happens is we have cranial nerves that come out of our brain and goes to our body. The number 1, or the number 10 nerve actually is the vagus nerve, but that's the biggest parasympathetic nerve that responds to our parasympathetic self, right? And our parasympathetic response in our body. And that runs right behind our epiglottis, okay, our nasopharynx. So, and then that combined with our hypoglossal and our accessory nerves, which are also have parasympathetic response to us too, they're all running back there. And so when we create this turbulence, we're stimulating that parasympathetic response through our breath, we're stimulating these nerves, and we're creating this relaxation during our stress response. It's crazy. It's stimulating the parasympathetic and the sympathetic at the same time. And that's awesome. And that is the yoga paradox. Now, I've actually extrapolated that into things beyond yoga. And my background is bodybuilding. I've done a lot of that. But when I go through my workouts now, and I've had some neck injury. I had 2 discs replaced in my neck, and I've got some deficits in my right side. And I used to get all mad, I'd be in the mirror and like, this one's not as strong and it's not as big, and I'm mad, that it wasn't as strong on this side. And so finally I just decided I was going to come from a place of gratitude. I'm going to go, you know what, dude, look at what I can do. I can do this. I can do this. I can do these things. I still can do so many things, man. And I became grateful of what things I could do. And I also realized that, oh my gosh, we have something called neuroplasticity. That means that we have something called neurogenesis, which means that we can create new neurons, we can create new synapses, we can create new nerve transmission, even where we have a deficit because of an injury. We can create that in our mind because our energy does that, right? Our body replaces things all the time. And so what I started to do is think about this crossover. And we have a crossover. We have something called the pyramids. It's in our brainstem, and our body. That's why our brain is divided into hemispheres, right? It's divided in half. The left half, controls the right side of the body. The right half controls the left side of the body, right? And they cross over. But we have neurological crossover. And when we think about that, we can think about, oh my gosh, I can think about the deficit parts of my right side, but I can use those same kind of muscles in the left side, and I can concentrate when I'm doing my stuff, right? And all of a sudden, it starts to equal out, right? It equals out and I used to just concentrate on the weak side. Now I concentrate on the strong side, doing the lifts, and the other side follows along. So this whole crossover thing. And then the other thing is I use the Ujjayi breath during my weight training as well. And instead of just getting this breath and getting all out of, I'm very focused, and I maintain my breath. I maintain this whole paradox even in my weight training, and I go through and I'm totally working stabilizer muscles. I'm totally slowing my weight training down. I don't lift as heavy as I used to. When I get heavy, I kind of cheat every once in a while just to get that last cheat rep or whatever. But it's really, really affected the way that I train with weights, the way that I do anything physically. It really is. I'm in total control. My posture's better. My breathing's better. And I'm able to really control. My emotions, man. And so that's a pretty cool thing too. So that is the yoga paradox, the ability to be able to summon the sympathetic and the parasympathetic response simultaneously and have them cross-motionate, so you can be stressing your body and totally in control and comfort cognitively, and you're controlling it with your mind, which most people don't think about that can happen. All right, that's what I got for you today, baby. The yoga paradox. Check it out. Cheers.